Best wishes to everyone listening under the sound of my voice today. May divine favor rest upon your heart and open your spiritual eyes to see that wealth is not distant. It is waiting for you to take your rightful position. Say amen. Wealth was never created for the wicked. It was created as a tool for the righteous to manifest divine purpose on earth. Somewhere along the way, this truth was forgotten. People began to think that money and holiness cannot exist together. But heaven never intended for the faithful to live in lack, while the ungodly control resources. Wealth was always designed to serve divine mission, to build, to bless, to lift, and to transform lives. For too long, the wicked have used resources to promote greed, corruption, and selfishness. They have built systems that favor darkness and suppress light. But now is the season when divine reversal must happen. It is written that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. That means it is not theirs permanently. It is only in their hands temporarily, waiting for the moment when the people of faith rise to claim it with wisdom and courage. The power to produce wealth has already been given to you, but you must awaken to it. Heaven does not send money from the sky. It releases ideas, strategies, and favor to those who are spiritually awake. You must understand that wealth is not evil. The misuse of wealth is. Money in the hands of the wicked multiplies destruction, but in the hands of the righteous, it multiplies goodness. Money takes the shape of the heart that holds it. If the heart is corrupt, money becomes a weapon of pride. If the heart is pure, money becomes an instrument of purpose. That is why heaven desires to shift resources into the hands of those who will use them for light, truth, and impact. But heaven will not transfer what you are not prepared to manage. Preparation is the first proof that you are ready for the transfer. When you start to align your purpose with divine will, heaven begins to take notice. Wealth is not attracted to laziness or fear. It is attracted to clarity, discipline, and faith. You must begin to think like a steward, not a struggler. The one who understands purpose never runs after money. Instead, money begins to run after them. You must see yourself as a channel through which divine resources flow, not a container trying to keep everything for yourself. Wealth must move through you, not stop with you. When heaven sees movement, it increases supply. The righteous must stop being afraid of wealth. There is nothing holy about poverty. Poverty is not a badge of humility. It is a limitation that stops you from blessing others the way you were created to. Wealth is meant to empower you to build, to help, and to fund purpose-driven visions. When the wicked prosper, their influence grows. When the righteous prosper, transformation happens. The transfer of wealth is not just about possession. It's about influence. Heaven desires the righteous to rise in influence, to use wealth to bring justice, hope, and faith into dark places. To claim wicked wealth, you must first accept that it belongs to you by divine right. Not through envy, not through greed, but through revelation. The resources on this earth were created for those who honor divine purpose. The wicked only possess what the righteous have failed to pursue. When you understand this truth, you stop praying from a place of desperation and start declaring from a place of authority. You stop saying, Lord, please give me, and start saying, dear Lord, release what is already mine. That shift in language moves mountains because heaven recognizes the tone of faith and responds to it. Your voice is a key. Every time you speak faith-filled words, you unlock doors that have been shut for generations. You must begin to declare that wealth is returning to its rightful owners. Speak it over your business, your home, your children, your community. Declare that every resource wrongly held by the wicked must find its way back to the hands of the righteous. Every time you speak such words, the spiritual realm begins to shift in your favor. The unseen responds to conviction. What you speak with belief becomes what you eventually touch. Wealth transfer begins first in your spirit before it happens in your bank account. You must become rich inside before you ever become rich outside. A person with a poor spirit cannot handle abundance. That's why the process starts with inner transformation. Renewing your mind to think like a ruler and not a slave. You must see yourself as one chosen to govern resources, not one struggling to survive. When your identity changes, your environment begins to adjust to match your new belief. Divine wealth does not fall from the sky. It flows through alignment. When your purpose, your words, and your work all align with divine law, increase becomes natural. You stop forcing things to happen because you are now walking in rhythm with heaven's order. That is where effortless success begins. Not in striving, but in alignment. Heaven cannot resist a person whose motives are pure, whose actions are disciplined, and whose heart is focused on serving purpose through wealth. So as you stand in this moment, remember that wealth was never created to enslave you. It was created to empower you. You were not born to chase it. You were born to command it. Money is not your master. It is your servant. You are not called to envy what the wicked have. You are called to reclaim what they have misused. Every time you lift your voice in faith, the heavens record your decree. Every time you act in obedience, the earth responds with provision. Wealth belongs in the hands of those who will honor it, protect it, and use it to fulfill divine purpose. You don't beg for wealth, you command it. That is the difference between the one who waits and the one who receives. Heaven never designed you to live in pursuit of money as though it were running away from you. You were created with authority, and that authority extends even to your finances. The moment you stop seeking with desperation and start speaking with faith, everything begins to shift. Money does not follow emotions, it follows conviction. It recognizes spiritual command, not complaint. When you rise up and declare what belongs to you, creation itself responds, because the righteous carry a divine right to rule over resources, not be ruled by them. You must learn to speak from identity, not from insecurity. The poor beg because they have forgotten who they are, but the heir consciousness, unconscious, because they know what has been promised to them. Your mouth carries creative power. Every word is either opening a door or closing one. The moment you start saying, I am prosperous, even when you don't see a coin, you begin to align heaven and earth with your declaration. You don't wait for wealth to come before you speak. You speak, and then it comes. Faith always moves first. When you speak with conviction, invisible systems start to obey. Opportunities appear that were once hidden. Favor begins to locate your name. Money starts to move toward your direction because it recognizes the voice of authority. You must understand that everything in the physical world responds to spiritual law the same way sickness hears the command to leave, lack hears the command to depart. The problem is not that money doesn't hear you. The problem is that you've been whispering doubt instead of declaring dominion. Commanding wealth is not arrogance, it's alignment. You are aligning with heaven's purpose for provision. Heaven never called you to live in financial captivity. It called you to build, to bless, and to advance divine work on earth. When you begin to command wealth, you are not serving yourself. You are activating resources for purpose. Your words become instructions to the unseen, and the unseen world obeys spiritual instruction without hesitation. But to command, your heart must be pure. You cannot speak authority with envy, greed, or bitterness. Those who speak from a selfish spirit find their words empty, but those who speak from faith find their words powerful. Purity gives weight to your declaration. When your motive is right, your mouth becomes a weapon of transformation. You don't command to boast, you command to fulfill divine vision. You speak not to prove power, but to activate promise. You must also command consistently. One day of faith followed by a week of fear will not shift anything. Consistency is what turns a statement into a law. When you speak daily, when you declare without wavering, when you hold your ground, even when circumstances resist, you prove that you believe in what you're saying. Heaven listens to persistence. The spiritual world respects those who refuse to retreat. Keep speaking until the atmosphere bends to your voice. To command wealth, you must also live in obedience. Authority without obedience is noise. You cannot speak prosperity, but live in disobedience to divine principles and expect results. When your actions match your confession, the earth responds to your command. Giving, integrity, and diligence are keys that unlock what your mouth has declared. Heaven releases provision through alignment, not convenience. Your words open the door, but your obedience keeps it open. Your voice is a tool of dominion. Every day, you must use it to shape your financial reality. Stop describing your situation and start declaring your solution. Stop talking about lack and start commanding overflow. Money is not your master, it is your servant. It moves according to your instruction. If you keep saying, I'm always behind, you will stay behind. If you say, I walk in abundance, you will begin to live in abundance. Words set direction. Direction brings manifestation. The one who commands wealth walks with quiet confidence. They understand that the power lies not in the amount they have, but in the authority they carry. Every instruction of faith releases movement. You do not need to see a sign to know that it's working. When you speak with faith, heaven begins to organize people, places, and opportunities in your favor. Even when nothing seems to change, the spiritual transaction is already in motion. So speak with boldness. Lift your voice in faith. Command the morning to bring provision. Command the day to bring increase. Command your destiny to attract wealth. You are not at the mercy of the economy. You are under the law of divine supply. The wicked may hold wealth, but the righteous have the authority to claim it. Every time you speak, you move closer to manifestation, because heaven cannot ignore the voice of one who commands from faith, not fear. The wealth of the wicked is not lost, it's waiting for a command. It sits in hidden places, stored up for those who dare to speak it forth. There are treasures that have your name written on them, but heaven will not release them until your voice activates them. The silence of believers has allowed the unrighteous to dominate financial systems for too long. But when a righteous person rises with revelation and begins to decree, that wealth was created for divine purpose, and I claim it now, the shift begins. You are not meant to chase after what is already assigned to you. You are meant to summon it through the authority given to you by faith. Everything in the material world responds to the voice of command. Gold, silver, business opportunities, and resources are not governed by chaos. They respond to spiritual order. When you speak from faith, that order is released. It begins to rearrange things, redirect hands, and transfer resources. Money doesn't have emotion, but it has instruction. The one who gives instruction with faith determines its direction. Stop saying, I can't afford it, and start saying, I will receive what I need because I am favored. That shift in declaration opens unseen doors of transfer. There is a law of divine exchange that operates through your words. Every decree of faith sends an order into the invisible world, commanding things to align with heaven's design for you. If your words are filled with fear, you cancel your command. But if your words are filled with faith, you accelerate your breakthrough. The righteous must reclaim their spiritual right to speak over wealth, because this is not about greed, it's about stewardship. You are a carrier of purpose, and purpose must be funded. When you claim wicked wealth, you're not stealing. You're redeeming. You are taking back what was meant for good, but got trapped in wrong hands. The businesses, contracts, inventions, and opportunities held by the unrighteous are simply resources waiting for divine redirection. God never lost control of wealth. He's waiting for his people to mature enough to handle it. And the moment you rise and declare, transfer it now for kingdom purpose, the heavens take record. Angels begin to move. Systems begin to shift to claim wicked wealth. Your mindset must break free from limitation. If you still see yourself as small, you will speak small. And small speech attracts small results. You must see yourself as a vessel chosen to manifest abundance. Think like a king, speak like a conqueror, and act like one who already owns what others are hoarding. Your faith will make invisible wealth visible. Your voice will become the magnet that pulls hidden treasures into your reality. Every declaration you make sends vibration into the atmosphere. Words are not empty, they are containers of power. The wicked use their words to manipulate markets, influence systems, and establish dominance. The righteous must use their words to command justice, favor, and divine redirection of resources. If your voice is silent, your wealth remains unclaimed. But when your voice rises, your inheritance awakens. You must not pray timidly. You must decree boldly. There is a difference between asking and commanding. Asking recognizes God's ability, but commanding demonstrates that you carry His authority. When you say, I claim the wealth prepared for me, you are not demanding from man. You are activating divine order. You are enforcing what has already been written, that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. And when you claim it, do not doubt. Doubt will delay what faith has already dispatched. You may not see movement immediately, but the transaction has begun. Wealth begins to change direction, influence begins to move, and favor starts to trace your name. The spiritual world does not respond to hesitation. It responds to conviction. You were not born to admire the prosperity of others. You were born to manifest your own. The same earth that produced gold for kings can produce increase for you. Speak to it. Command it. Tell it to yield what belongs to you. Wicked wealth is waiting for righteous voices. Voices that carry divine purpose, purity, persistence. So open your mouth with boldness. Say, I claim what is mine. I call forth every resource, every opportunity, every hidden treasure. Keep speaking until the heavens echo your decree. Keep commanding until the wicked wealth begins to flow into your hands. Because the one who knows their authority never chases wealth. They summon it. Before wealth can transfer, your heart must be trained to handle it. God does not release abundance into hands that are still ruled by fear, greed, or comparison. The reason many people never experience the flow of divine provision is because they still see money as a master instead of a servant. Wealth must never sit on the throne of your heart. It must serve the purpose that flows from your spirit. When your motive is purified, your authority increases. Heaven trusts those who command wealth not for show, but for service. The more your purpose aligns onions with divine intention, the faster provision begins to locate you. Every blessing carries a responsibility. When you say, I am ready to receive, you must also be ready to steward. Wealth will never stay in the hands of those who mismanage what they already have. You cannot claim wicked wealth while living in financial chaos. Order your life, discipline your spending, plan your increase. Faith is not an excuse for disorder. It is the foundation for divine structure. When your house is in order, heaven recognizes readiness and releases supply. Many have prayed for abundance, but few have prepared for it. Preparation is the proof that you believe what you speak. If you declare increase, but spend carelessly, your confession has no root. The spiritual and the practical must walk together. Build systems that can hold the overflow. Clear your debts so generously. Organize your finances. When God sees preparation, He multiplies potential. There is a level of financial maturity where you no longer chase wealth. You create channels for it. You start to attract ideas, divine partnerships, and opportunities that carry supernatural multiplication. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that heaven recognizes your voice and your readiness. The wicked wealth you once admired begins to flow toward you because you have become a vessel of purpose rather than a consumer of pleasure. To break the cycle of lack, you must renew your thinking daily. Poverty is not only the absence of money, it is the presence of limitation. It is the mindset that says, I can't, when heaven has already declared, you can't. Every time you choose to think abundance, speak faith, and act boldly, you dismantle that system of limitation. When your thoughts shift, your reality must follow. Wealth is a current that flows toward conviction. The universe listens for voices that know what they want and why they want it. When your reason is pure and your belief is strong, money cannot resist you. It finds its way through channels, through people, through unexpected favor. You must keep your faith steady and your motives clean. Every thought of fear, every word of doubt builds a wall between you and the flow of divine supply. Discipline is not the enemy of prosperity, it is the foundation of it. Those who cannot control their spending cannot command wealth. Every coin is a seed, and every seed must be planted wisely. The wicked have mastered the art of managing money. The righteous must now master the art of multiplying it. When you handle small amounts faithfully, heaven entrusts you with more. Your words attract wealth, but your character sustains it. Many can speak blessings into existence, but cannot hold them because their foundation is weak. Develop integrity that cannot be shaken, humility that cannot be bought, and vision that cannot be distracted. These qualities make you a magnet for sustained prosperity. Every time you honor what you have, you signal to heaven that you are ready for more. Gratitude multiplies resources. When you thank God for small beginnings, He increases your capacity. Speak abundance, plan wisely, and give generously. This threefold rhythm keeps the flow of divine wealth alive. So, as you claim wicked wealth, remember, it is not just about receiving, it's about becoming. Become a vessel of trust, a channel of flow, a distributor of divine resources. When you rise with integrity, faith, and purpose, heaven has no reason to withhold anything that belongs to you. Wicked wealth does not respond to weak faith. It answers only to those who know who they are in the divine order. When you speak with authority, the realm of resources listens. Heaven recognizes faith that does not waver, that speaks in confidence, even when evidence is absent. Wealth begins to travel through invisible channels. Opportunities, favor, and unexpected open doors toward those who speak with the boldness of divine ownership. You must stop asking for permission to prosper and start claiming what already carries your name in the spirit. There are treasures hidden in the hands of the wicked, waiting for the moment when the righteous rise in faith. But heaven will not release them to a heart that doubts its identity. You must first understand that abundance is your inheritance. Poverty is not humility. It is disconnection from divine supply. When you realign your thinking with heaven's reality, wealth begins to flow where it belongs. Every time you declare with faith, "The wealth of the wicked is mine," you activate a spiritual law that begins to rearrange circumstances in your favor. You are not chasing money, you are commanding alignment. Every system, every person, every opportunity that has what belongs to you begins to respond. The universe was created to obey divine sound, and your words carry that power. Speak wealth, not want. Speak increase, not insufficiency. The more you declare from conviction, the faster resources begin to move in your direction. Faith is not passive, it is forceful. It demands results. The wealth that the wicked hold in greed will find its way to those who live in purpose. But you must become immovable. You must refuse to let temporary circumstances dictate permanent truths. Even when your pockets feel empty, your confession must stay full. The language of the kingdom is not lack. It is life, expansion, and overflow. There are moments when the enemy tries to convince you that your words don't matter, that your prayers are empty. But you must remember that creation itself responds to faith-filled speech. You are not trying to convince heaven. You are commanding alignment on earth. Every time you speak, energy moves, systems shift, people awaken, and doors open. Do not stop speaking until what you said becomes what you see. To claim wicked wealth, you must also release jealousy, envy, and comparison. You cannot receive from heaven while looking sideways. What belongs to others is theirs by their faith. What belongs to you will find you when you align with your own assignment. Focus on your lane, your calling, your purpose. Your harvest is hidden in your obedience, not in your observation of others. Every act of obedience unlocks a new level of provision. When you sow where God leads, when you give where you are instructed, when you serve with pure motives, wealth begins to chase you. The wicked may hold wealth temporarily, but they cannot keep what heaven has decreed for you. What is meant for you will be transferred when you stand firm in faith and walk in divine order. You must build capacity for the coming abundance. Expand your mindset, improve your discipline, and plan for overflow. The problem is not lack of opportunity, it is lack of readiness. Prepare as though the transfer has already begun. Speak as though it is already done. Expect divine connections and strategic favor. The greater your expectation, the faster manifestation arrives. Faith without action is fantasy. When you believe, you must also move. Claiming wicked wealth is not about waiting. It is about walking boldly toward what is yours. Make declarations daily. Take steps toward your goals. Plant seeds of generosity. Wealth flows where motion exists. As you act, heaven multiplies your efforts. There is a moment when heaven watches your consistency and declares, now. That moment comes when your faith is unshakable, your words are aligned, and your actions match your belief. In that moment, what was once stored in the hands of the wicked begins to flow into yours, not by accident, but by divine order. Wealth does not resist those who walk in purpose, power, and purity.